kuna parts za brain zenye ni specific for certain functions. Like kama msee labda alikuwa anapenda kucheza piano, ati kuna place piano ikiguzwa ina respond. Na sasa ati when you're operating on someone ni muhimu sana usitampa na kitu hata place ya language. So hapo ndio nikakuwa curious that ukifungua akili ya msee alafu uko hapo ndani unaget hiyo place ya language. Kuna vile unaweza guza msee amke akiwa Mkisii na alikuwa amelala.
Yes, na kuelewa.
Yes.
Nitatry ku simplify kidogo. I think the brain itself is a beautiful organ. Wonderful.
Yes.
Yote ukifungua inakaa about the same. Ukiangalia iko, I think hata daktari akona model kidogo hapa. Haikuangi green. Hii tu ni model ya kuonyesha.
Hii ni standard size ya akili.
Hapana, ni ndogo zaidi ya an adult brain. An adult brain is slightly bigger than this.
Hii itakuwa mtoto pengine 4 years.
4-5 years.
Yeah.
So an adult brain is slightly bigger than this. But ukiangalia inakaa ni kama haina any distinctive marks. Unaona tu iko na bumps, iko na some trenches, but they all look the same.
Yes.
So one of the things that you do kama unasoma, actually medical school, wacha kufanya neurosurgery, ni kitu inaitwa anatomy. We teach you the structure itself and then you link that with the function. So the brain inakuanga na specialization, cha niseme hivyo. Certain parts zinafanya certain things. Kuna yenye inakusaidia ku-think, ku-calculate, kucheza chess, ku-make complex decisions.
Yes. Kuna
place yenye inakusaidia kusongesha vidole. Kuna place yenye inakufanya ku-interpret kile unaona. Okay? So macho inapata hiyo nini, hizo signals, lakini ikifika kwa brain ndio ina-interpret. Inasema umevaa shati ya black, tie ya yellow, t-shirt na shati ya white. Unaelewa? So each of them ziko na specific functions. Language is very complex. Language sio just the connection itself, because it's a learned skill. So over time you'll make connections as you learn a language. Utapata watoi wana learn languages faster kushinda vile ukijaribu kufunza mzai French. But a child would pick it up very quickly, especially wako in that environment where the language is being used a lot. So it's an immersive sort of experience in learning that language. So siwezi kukugeuza ukue Mkamba by kugusa mali. Atika waya fulani hivi nafanya huyu anakuwa Muitaliano, lakini hata sisi tukipanga operation yetu tunajua mali the place ya language iko. So a huge part of our work ni kuavoid hizi places zenye ziko na what we call eloquent function. Kazi yetu ni kuavoid kuongeza anything ugonjwa haikuongeza. So tutoe ile ugonjwa yenye iko bila kuongeza any other defaults.
Na from how he speaks, ugonjwa ni basically, my basic understanding, ni a foreign object kwa system yako.
Not completely. So break down kizungu mwingi, lakini disease is this is when mwili yako iko pale inatakiwa kuwa. So it can be caused by different things. Kuna ile kuna virusi, for example at the moment tunaongea juu ya COVID. So kuna virusi ambazo zinakuja kuingia kwa mwili na ingia kwa bongo. Inaweza kuwa ni hitilafu ya damu. So mishipa ya damu, hiyo ndio tunasema wakati mwingine kama stroke. Ina kama superhighway, inaleta oxygen, inaleta chakula, nini. Lakini ikiwa na blockage ama haitoshi, then you have a vascular problem. So you know vascular diseases. Kuna zingine ni vile you are formed. Wakati ulikuwa ukichukua kama ni typing nataka kufanya hivi corrections, alafu inaanza kumiss. Kuna typing error, lakini body haija notice. Those are now the genetic abnormalities that can happen in your brain and can manifest a lot of times ukiwa mdogo, lakini sometimes when you're a bit older. And alafu kuna vitu kama tumors. A tumor by description ni the cells of your body zinatakiwa kuwa zinafuata certain discipline. Hapa nita multiply, hapa nitakaa, alafu ikifika this stage zitadie. But a tumor is unprogrammed cell growth. So badala ya hiyo kustop, inaendelea kugrow, ina occupy space, haitakiwi kuoccupy. Alafu because the brain is delicate, iko na closed box, ikifika certain size, inaanza kuaffect the other functions. How you move, how you talk, even who you are, your mood. Unaweza kupata mtu iko na low mood because uko na growth at a particular place.
Okay, ni interesting sana. Leo tumeconfirm wase wafupi wanaweza kuwa ni typo. Nini? Na doc,
yes.
Kwa ulisema surgery wase wana work as a team.
Yes.
Hakuna ati wewe ni neurosurgeon, umeiva hiyo job design, unaweza kuwa na patient wako unaambia ni aje, unaweza pitia home ni kufungua akili, baadaye tucheki vile hii mambo itakuwa. As in, si job unaweza fanya one man, hakuna job unaweza fanya one man.
Nitatumia first example yako. Yes. You run a very beautiful show, everyone anajua hii show ni ya Dr. Kingori.
Thank you.
Au run peke yako.
Ni ukweli.
Tuanzie hapo. So it's the same thing even with what we do. And that's what we were having a discussion, I think, before tuanze, that there's a whole pyramid of people that are that are alongside you, who are supposed to help you do your work safely. Wanakusaidia ufanye kazi yako safely.
Yes.
From diagnostics, wewe sio wa kwanza utaona mgonjwa. Kuna mtu atamuona kwa ile hospitali iko karibu na yeye, or health center. So there's a referral system yenye itafanya mgonjwa afike kwako. Akifika kwako, mimi nimemwona kuna picha nataka. Sijui kupiga hiyo picha. So nitatuma kwa mtu wa picha. So I send to the radiologist or the radiographer who will do the scan and interpret it. Aya, nikishamaliza hapo, there's a whole team even during surgery itself who just ensure that I have kwanza kila kitu nahitaji for this patient, na zinakuja at the time zenye nazihitaji. It's almost surgery musema, it's like a dance of ballet. It's a very coordinated process. Even the scrub nurse niko naye hapo, lazima ajue kile kunipatia saa zile naitaka in a certain way, just to make my life easier, because ninaweza kuwa nimesimama hapo for 9 hours. So unajua ukiwa na mtu ambaye mnafanya kazi naye ni poa. Then beyond that, even after the surgery itself, mgonjwa lazima chungwe. There's a nursing care, there's a ICU care, there's rehabilitation, kuna physiotherapy, kuna speech therapy. There's a whole team that allows me to be successful nikisaidia mgonjwa. So sio one man show na hiwezi kuwa. So siwezi kuchukua ni kuplak ni kutume to some arid place useme nitafungua vichwa chini ya mti. Unaweza fungua lakini usifungue.
Na still on the same breath, kama ulikuwa umepasua msee kichwa na hii squad yako uko nayo hapa nasi. Kuna vile labda unaweza ku overwhelmed, uite cleaner kukatie na fulani, bora tu ajue kushika kisu na yesi mlevi.
Hapana, kile tunaweza sema ni kwanza sisi amongst ourselves as colleagues. Hatuko wengi and we work as a team. We work as one big team yenye we consult each other ukiwa na kesi ambayo ni mpya ama kitu ambayo ungetaka maarifa, kwa sababu kuna mwingine kuna maarifa kidogo kukushinda on something. Then kuna cases zenye hata unaweza amua mnafanya kama team. Sema ni kubwa, ni mrefu, ni sensitive sana. Naita Bev, Dr. Cheserem hapa, namuita, tunaanza surgery pamoja. Ikifika mahali tunaweza kusaidiana. Lakini hata ule unaita kusaidia, lazima kuwe anajua anakata nini, wapi and how fast. So sio cleaner.
Sawa. Alafu doc, when it comes to diseases, for example, before ifike, you mentioned something very important in our conversation before. When operating, before mtu afike operation, kuna hizo early detection and how they help. Kwa sababu before ifike place tumor iko, kuna signs zenye mtu anafaa ku watch out for, ukuwe rada, you need to go get checked out, and how does it help?
So mara nyingi watu wanajua wana shida tofauti katika kiafya. So ukisema ukiumwa na kichwa ama una shida ya kuona ama umekufa ganzi ama shida yote, nasisitiza everyone should just go and see a doctor, and the doctor should then do the relevant tests. And then when those tests are done, then they are fed to us. So the difference with a neurosurgeon is we're not your first port of call. Normally umeshapitia mikono ya wenzetu, doctors and nurses and stuff. The difference it makes, nikichukua mfano ya stroke. So a stroke ni when there's a blood haijafika a certain station, So there are treatments in this country. So we offer it in Aga Khan, and it's offered also in Nairobi Hospital, inaitwa thrombectomy, Pali kama kuna clot tunaweza kuitoa. The international guidelines show that tukikuona within 24 hours, 1 in 3 people wanakuwa na benefit, wanaenda kuishi independent lives. Unaona, that's a really important thing. Ni kama kitu ingine ambao both Kitungu and I deal with, ni vitu ambazo ziko around the pituitary, karibu na macho, A lot of people come to us when they have lost functional eyesight. Sasa unaona tu taa na nini. But if you come to us early, then we can operate on you and you can restore your sight, or at least preserve your sight. Inakupea a lot of independence. Unajiosha, drive, nini. So nasisitiza ukiwa na shida, enda kwa daktari, to your healthcare facility mapema. And then we are in the major hospitals. So I'm in Aga Khan, he's in Kenyatta University, Moi teaches in Eldoret, there are guys in Kisumu, in Mombasa. Come to us as early as you can so that we have a chance to give you back your health.
Okay.
If I can just chip in, I think that's such an important point that I just felt, even if you give me 1 second, I just chip in on it. Because as she's saying, one of the things that we find a challenge is our patients come rather late. Yeah. Majority of the patients have come late. And it's what we call health-seeking behavior.
Yes.
Mkenya atasema amerogwa, ama atakunywa Panadol, ama they'll do everything to try and postpone kwenda kuona daktari.
Yes.
Because the initial symptoms, even let's say a tumor, are usually very subtle. It's a headache that's not going away. It's vision ambayo inaanza kupotea, ama masikio iko na shida, or just a little bit of weak. By the time you're starting to get weakness kwa mikono na miguu, that's actually relatively late. So that headache ambayo it's persistent.
Yes.
Don't ignore it. Go see a healthcare provider. They can assess the risk, whether you require further investigations, and then eventually whether you require referral to a specialist. So it's about Kenyans themselves being aware that hata kwa ile hospitali ambayo iko karibu na wewe kuna daktari ambaye akikuona atakueleza kama ni kitu ambacho una need to worry about na kama una need further treatment.
Na ukisema hivyo, most Kenyans fear hiyo kitu ya ati ukienda kutafuta kitu utapata hiyo kitu unatafuta. People kidogo tu, also people fear ile ya ati ukienda hospitali uko sure watakwambia unahitaji operation, na mtu wako like nasi nimekuja hapa nikitembea, operation tena ya nini?
Kile mimi usema ni afadhali utafute uikose kushinda useme sitaki kuitafuta na ikue. Unaelewa? Ukisema ati mtu anaogopa kwenda kwa hospitali kwa sababu anasema kile unatafuta utapata. The opposite means is that you don't go to the hospital, you stay with the problem that you have for long, alafu ikuwe imezidi kwa muda. So I'd rather hata symptoms ikiwa slight, nenda hospitali, nenda onekana. Hakuna mtu ambaye atakuona pale atakufanya chochote ambacho cha kukudhuru. Kama ni matibabu unahitaji utapewa. Kama ni anything una need utapewa. Kama ni imaging utapewa. Kama sio kitu ya worry about, unaambiwa nenda nyumbani, rudi baada ya muda fulani tuone kama iko bado.
Ya pili ya kuongezea, kuna magonjwa mengi ambayo tunatibu, we don't deal directly with surgery. But the earlier you come with it, the more options you have. Unaona? So mtu akikuja kuniambia I have this problem, that problem, we have time to do the tests and also to consider the non-surgical treatment. So it's for your benefit as well. Kuna various conditions, I can investigate and tell you this is the timeline. Yeah. Also, it gives you time to think. One of the things what upata very difficult is if they see you in an emergency and there's no time to really process, the earlier you come, the more time there is for discussions, for preparing you, for getting all the options ready. So we want to see people as early as possible.
And when nikiangalia numbers, there's only 37 of you in this country, right? Serving almost 50 million Kenyans. Does it mean that hizi maugonjwa zi wait in turns msikuwe overwhelmed as in ati au madaktari wako sawa, so mko na enough tumors to deal with, alafu sasa ndio ziingie zikama? How do you deal with a population ya
So you've mentioned it yourself. There's a huge shortfall of neurosurgeons we have. Yes. 37 for a population of 50 million ni ratio kidogo sana.
1% to 1.4 million.
1 to 1.4 million. So hao ni watu wengi sana kwa mtu mmoja ku take care of.
Yes.
And the number has grown recently. Tuna increase slowly. And I think I'll give a little credit to my seniors, the ones who trained us kufika mali tuko. We actually have training programs ambazo tuna train watu. So we are trying to change that ratio as we go along. So even within the country, we have a number of programs that are training neurosurgeons with the hope of sending a neurosurgeon to every county in this republic. And that's a short-term goal. So that's actually going to be achieved. Hopefully short-term.
Like where will you summer for how long do you full neurosurgeon?
Labda ni kuhesabia pole. Nianzie high school ama primary. Nianzie primary ama high school.
10 years, 15?
Let me put it this way.
Yes.
Kutoka nianze med school,
yes,
it was 13 years. Kutoka niingie kampo.
13 years?
Yes.
13 years. Na hii short term ni hata mimi naweza kuja tu as long as najua kushika kisu ama ni med school mandatory?
Lazima uanze undergraduate med school. So lazima kuwe daktari kwanza. So the process of being a doctor ndio tunasema undergraduate. So ukimaliza kuja kuwa daktari, become a medical officer, fanya kazi ya internship, then ukuje masters. Masters yenyewe ni 6 years. So ukishamaliza kukuwa daktari, wacha tuseme inakuanga minimum of 6 years. So minimum of 6 years. So ukishamaliza unakuja and then we'll train you. But ndio I think daktari alisema at the very beginning, you must be passionate about this, you must be persistent about it. Sio vitabu peke yake, it requires a certain sort of personality mwenye yuko willing kurani marathon mpaka mwisho.
Okay. Na doc, mkiwa kwenye, how's your work environment? Unajua me, I have fun in my work environment, na nikisikia Kitunguu, Dr. Kitunguu at first alikuwa ana sound msi ana enjoy pia job yake, na hata wewe pia ukisikia mtu kwanza kwa simu yako ni pia ni passion on another level. So pale kwa ile room yenu, how free are you guys? Like inaitwaje, like mnakuanga na hiyo nafasi ya have fun, sijui all work, kama mesema uwezi simama 9 hours ati 9 hours peke yake kwa kichwa msee ati nini mnakuwa na have fun like
I think the truth is neurosurgery is a lifestyle rather than a job. Yeah, it's a lifestyle rather than a job. So like when you're on call, anything can happen. So there are times when, oh, okay, that's okay. And then the next thing you could be dealing with, an accident victim or somebody who's going off and stuff like that. So you must enjoy being willing to go and see people at very short notice. Then we have people we see in clinic, and in clinic you might, you're dealing with such a broad spectrum. Kuna watu wanakuja and really utakuwa ukimfanya tu reassurance. Unasema yeah, tumeangalia, tumepima everything, that's fine. On the other end will be the people who may operate and now you're giving them feedback. And then there are others you'll be like, okay, this is difficult. The treatment cannot be only neurosurgical, or the treatment is not appropriate neurosurgical. So una direct the right way. As a team, we really, you have to enjoy the job. Yeah. So you work well with your colleagues, and not just your colleagues who are neurosurgeon. As alisema, this is teamwork. So every day I interact with people that, of different specialities, ICU, anesthesia, A&E, neurology. It's a varied day, ophthalmology. So you must enjoy variety, you must enjoy a challenge. You must also be the kind of person who's willing to plan, because we must plan, but you must also be flexible about your plan. So that's how our days are. Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Kitunguu, if I could trouble you for that brain, kidogo.
Yes. Sio yangu.
Sawa. So, niliangalia hii kitu, I'm like, if this is someone's brain,
yes,
you have studied it inside out.
Yeah.
Like, specifically, najua watu nawaulizia hii swali wanajua, bangi inaendanga wapi kwa hizi parts zimeandikwa hapa kwa corpus callosum na thalamus?
So, bangi is a... Bangi, that's an interesting one. Bangi haingii kwa brain.
Bangi haingii kwa brain? So you are demystifying hiyo kitu ya bangi ufanya watu wakwenda wazimu.
So that one, I would recommend uende kwa watu ambao ufanyanga neuroscience and psychiatry. It's not really neurosurgery. Unless you want to offer an answer.
Dr. Kitunguu anaweza jua.
Wacha tuseme the right message to youth wa Kenya.
Yeah.
Bangi waribu brain. Lakini sio kazi ambayo neurosurgeons tuna deal nayo. So a huge part of it is because it's a drug of abuse. Kuna vile ikishatumiwa, whatever form someone is using it, it's broken down into its components. So again, it's not my area of forte. Yeah. It's not my area of forte. But it will get to a... sorry?
Si ati when you guys open the brain, na mnajua mkisoma how a normal brain is, you can open alafu useme corpus callosum ya huyu jamaa iko na bangi. As in it's not...
You see, tukiangalia, hata tukifungua brain na tuiangalia, we're looking at the structure itself. You're not seeing the functional aspect of it. Uoni mahali ambapo, kwa sababu there are so many things that make it fire.
Yes.
Okay, so there's something inaitwa the limbic system, ambaye is especially for things of satiety, things of reward and pain, and that's where most of the drugs of abuse would work there, because they're giving you a certain sense of satiety or of stimulation, ambaye ndio unaona mtu anatafuta kisa yote, anaenda akikuwa addicted towards the drug itself. Lakini sio kitu ambacho mtu wa upasuaji. Mimi ni mtu wa mkono. Mimi kazi yangu ni kazi ya mkono. Sio kitu
you're being modest. Na umekuja pale nilikuwa nataka please yenye unasema hizo drugs zina touch on the part yenye inakuanga inachangamka ikisikia brain. So wewe ukiletewa patient na unajua ujamaa amengangana na cocaine for some time. Unajua uking'oaka kakitu ataamka akiwa sober. Is that possible?
No, it's not. If it was that easy, I think it might have been offered as a solution for people who've gone into addiction. I think the best person to answer you those questions would be a neuropsychiatrist or a psychiatrist.
Na ukifungua akili ya mtu, kuna place ukienda, you have to be very careful. Unajua kuna waya ukiguza anakuwa mwenda wazimu.
So first of all, it depends what you define by mwenda wazimu, yeah? So if you just help me with the brain, and the other half.
Tunaomba na akili.
Nomba na brain. Kwanza nusu.
So the different parts of the brain do different things. So
Yes.
the cerebellum deals with your movement. The back here is to do with your vision. The temporal lobe on the side is to do with language and emotion. The parietal lobe is about sensation. And then the frontal lobe is where you have not only movement, but you also have your personality. Yeah. So even the definition of madness varies from time to time in different societies. So it's a very complex thing. I can't answer you with one question. But in terms of the way watu wamekuelewa, and then afterwards you may change, yes, there are parts of the brain, if you touch, somebody might lose their executive function, you know, the ability to make a decision. Unamuuliza unaenda wapi, and then they can't really make a decision. The other parts, if you touch, they lose your inhibition. We all have thoughts that unafikiria lakini tu umenyamaza.
Yes.
Now that thing can be shut off. So unasema tu what comes to your mind, you know.
Hauna break ya akili.
So it's very complex ukisema. The term mwendawazimu is something that I'm very careful about because it's about mental health. It means different things in different people. And so we can change how you function, but I wouldn't necessarily put it the way you have because it's much more complex than that. The brain and the personality and who you are is much more complex than just a part that you touch.
Yeah. So it's not like ati kuna different places ukiona ni inflamed unaweza jiambia umse this guy is evil minded, as in there's no ati specific, that's the separation between the mind and the brain as the
Yeah, so yes, you're asking questions that are more to do with neuroscience and neuropsychiatry.
So
those are the people who can answer that, about alternations of behavior through changes in the biochemistry of your brain.
Okay.
A neurosurgeon is a little bit different. Yes, so we notice changes in personality, and so there are things that we can do for some of them, not for all of them.
Okay.
But it's a much more, that's why tunasemanga all the time, we work in teams. So if somebody came to me with that kind of question, I would immediately call my psychiatry friend and my neurology friend, because you want to do the right thing for them. A neurosurgeon deals with diseases that can be managed with a surgical, sometimes may need a surgical intervention. For the rest, we hand over to our colleagues because actually that is the right thing to do.
Ulikuwa unataka kuadd kitu doc?
I wanted to add,
Yes.
the way you're trying to, I think ni kujaribu kusimplify sana.
Yes.
Kuna vitu ambavyo yes can change your personality, specific even lesions in certain parts of the brain zinaweza zika change personality ya mtu, and actually that might be the presenting symptom. Operated on a young man mwenye kile symptom alikuwa nayo ni alikuwa akipoteza job saa yote. He used to be he used to be a very responsible young man, alikuwa church elder, alikuwa kwa choir ya kanisani. Then he just started having headaches for a long period of time and started changing the personality of who he was. Could not retain a job, could not keep his word, started getting forgetfulness. If that is seen earlier, unaweza ukaona, she even knows the sort of tumor nasema because of mahali ambapo iko. And he had just a specific type of tumor. By the time I was operating on him, I think his social fabric had broken down. And he's doing very well. He's picked himself up, he's moving on. So you all have these stories, but it's not a simplistic story ati nikigusa hapa, nafanya kingori anze kubehave kama sijui namna gani. It's just, the brain is a lot more complex than that.
Hiyo example yako ilikuwa vile mara ya kwanza ulianza nilikuwa like wow, you can solve unemployment through neurosurgery.
That would be an expensive way.
You can touch. But doctor
that would be a very expensive way.
But honestly, in your academics, you can actually tell a fool when you
Kingori sasa imeanza kuwa therapy session. What do you want to tell us?
Hapana. As in, ni vile mwezi sema, but unaweza fungua mtu useme jamani mjinga sana.
Hapana.
Amwezi sema, as in, it does not show physically. No. It's beyond that.
It's beyond that. Sometimes you can look at the anatomy of the brain and understand that somebody's function for higher functions imepungua because of the disease process. Hiyo huwezi kusema this person is a nini. Hiyo ni shida through the disease process ama vile ameumbwa. But we don't open, nimekuambia kuna mind choices umefanya. Kila mtu amepewa kipawa. So the way you used it ndio ina determine kama you're a fool or not. And that is not something a neurosurgeon deals with. That is the personal choices you've made. Yeah.
As in, I think for the 6 years as a med school, first of all, the 4 years ni za etiquette. Yani, mtu hawaget tu useme the way it is. Ni ngumu sana.
But tunakwambia the way it is. Because the concepts unauliza are very complex. Like intelligence. It's an extremely complex thing. It's, because you can be intelligent in one thing and, as you're saying, a fool in something completely different.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So it is a lot to do, yes, with the structure and the biochemistry and the function of the brain,
Yes.
but also your exposures in life and the nurture that you have. So you can't, as we always keep saying, you can't judge a fish by asking it to climb a tree. In that sense, that fish is stupid. But ukiweka kwa maji,
kweli
iko.
Na challenges on the job. Tuseme kama in Kenya. We kwanza ulitoka UK. Nilimuuliza, alitoka UK akifanya the same job, which I believe, I assume you would have made more money ukarudi home.
So the choices that you make in life are always more than just about the money that you make. I think if you look at anyone who's successful, whether it's Kipchego Keino or anyone that you think is your hero, if only money drives you, then you don't get to the next level. So I came from here, I went to the UK, and then I needed a new challenge, and I came home. Why did I come home? I think there's so much to learn. First of all, the way you practice medicine is within a such a cultural context. So nimekuwa mwanafunzi tena. Nikichukua mfano, so in the UK, everything is measured in distance. Nikikuuliza how much pain you have out of 10, unaweza kuniambia 5, 4 things and like, but actually if you think about our languages, that's not how we measure pain. Ukimuuliza mtu anakuambia niko na uchungu kwa umbali ama iko uchungu hapa nini, and that's not the same. So how we experience medicine is different. So for me, it's an exciting time to come home. I am learning a lot. I'm also contributing, and there's a lot for me to contribute into and learn with my colleagues. Tunaanza, hii ni kama relay race. There are those who went before us who started medical schools. There are those who came before us who started residency programs. Sasa now it's for us, what is the next level? We want to train more people, we want to make the services available to more people in our country. Yes. We want to make it easier for people to get treatment locally and to get the right advice so that they can be treated in their cultural context. Unapewa dawa, unaenda home, instead of having to fly out. So there's a lot of opportunity and the privilege of coming home. I don't know what you think as well.
If I could get every trained professional who's Kenyan out there to come back home, I'd want them to come back home. Because there are solutions that they can offer our people, and there are solutions that we need. So her coming back home is extremely encouraged, and would want to encourage people to do the same, train a little bit more. We already agreed that kuna shortage kubwa. So ukifukuza huyu, so umepunguza tena mmoja.
Na umesema sasa, as in the course is so intense that only 37 people can be neurosurgeons at this particular moment?
No, to deliver a quality course, you have to train a few people at a time. So huwezi kufanya
pivotal to our gathering today, transforming the international financing systems, and we will talk about that in the third segment of our discussion. The Deputy President of
Hi designers! Do you know Cohome? For those of you who don't know, Cohome is a 3D interior design platform that can be accessed online via a browser. You can create interior designs in minutes, create customizable cabinets, adjust lighting easily, and produce realistic images.
Transformation agenda. We have, for the Hustler Nation, the Hustler Nation are the ordinary people who are the majority in terms of food production. There before, there has been a great challenge in accessing affordable credit to enable farmers to buy inputs and to buy the right. As a result of that financial inclusivity to the people at the bottom of the pyramid,